Right, so in front of me here, we've got a little old RMX250 Suzuki, which is low on compression, as you would have seen in the video. And my dad and I believe this is why it won't start. So today's video, we're going to be tearing it down. We're going to see if the rings are buggered. I'm believing that's what's the problem, but it could be a number of other things as well. We're just hoping it's rings at the moment, because obviously rings are pretty cheap, or a piston. Piston would be alright as well, so long as it hasn't broken up anything, which would be pretty catastrophic. Anyway, stay tuned and we'll tear this down and rebuild it. So obviously first things to come off will be these panels. So I want to get these two side panels off, then we'll take the tank off, take the seat off obviously first, sorry. I'll leave this mudguard on, but I believe I will take these side covers off as well. Just give us a bit more access. Then we'll have to move over to this belly plate, take that off to allow us to get this exhaust. It's not a manifold, but I think it goes straight into the bore. Yeah, by the looks of it. But yeah, just take this exhaust system off. And then once we've got the tank off, we'll have to start disconnecting all the coolant lines for the radiator, which sits up in here. And then we can get to pulling this head off, which is up in there, right there. And then once that's off, we can loosen these nuts off for the cylinder bore itself, and then we can take the cylinder bore all the way out. So that's what I anticipate we do in this video, as I don't have the parts yet, so it won't be the full rebuild in this video. But yeah. Right, so that's all of our panels off, as you can see. Now I've exposed the actual block and the engine itself. Next thing to remove is this belly pan. So under here we've got two Allen head screws there and a bolt on either side. So I think that's all that's holding it in. And then for our exhaust, it looks like it's just a big spring here. And it must... two big springs, sorry. There's one down there as well. I'm guessing that must hold it up in there. And then up here, we have a dampener and the pipe itself. I think that's it. I'm not sure whether this is all going to have to come out as one, but we'll find out. Okay, so next thing we've got to do is pull this top radiator hose off. So this is still connected to the head. So we've got a socket set here. I believe that's a 6mm. That will do. Be quite fine. We'll loosen off our clamp, which appears to be loosening. Got to be careful, just work my way around so I don't destroy it, because that's not what I want to do. Actually, you know what I'll do, I'll pull this other one off. Oh, come on. It's coming. Alrighty. Okay, now that that is out of the way, we can take our support bolts out for the head, or the chassis, then the chassis to the head. So pull them off. Oh shit, they're tight. We'll move on to our head now, seeing as though just about everything is gone from that. We can take it off. So with these cylinder heads, as some of you may already know, you can't just undo all the bolts and take it straight off. That stresses out the head. You have to do them in a certain order, and you have to do the nuts or undo the nuts in a certain amount every time. So for this bike, the manual states to do opposites, and then don't go over a quarter of a turn with the ratchet or the spinner when you do undo the nut. So we'll try and do that. So we've got number one here, that's a quarter turn there. We'll go over to this side. There we go. Quarter turn there, that's a quarter turn. Now this one, we go straight over here. There we go. We'll have some luck. Yep, there we go. Just gonna try not to hit that radiator. Ooh. Down. There we go, that's about a quarter turn there. Now, because we've done that one, we'll now move to this one over here. Undo that one about a quarter of a turn. There we go, that's a quarter turn. Now, because that one's opposite to this one, move that one, do that one quarter of a turn. Half a quarter of a turn, that's a full quarter. And then back to this one, it's the last one. Quarter. Alright, and now we go back to the start. Quarter. That's about a quarter there. Quarter there. We got that one next, didn't we? Quarter there. Quarter there. Quarter there. Quarter there. Feels like they're all pretty much loose now. So undo them. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see what's under this head, whether it's good or bad. We should be able to just pull this head clean off without any issues. I'm hoping. Might just clear, yes. Ooh, dropped a couple of the washers. I see where some of them went. We'll just move them back here so we don't drop any more. This just comes out here. See our piston? It's very, very carboned up, but that's our head. It doesn't look too bad, I must say. I'll pull this head gasket off and see what it's like. A lot of silicone on it. Yeah, overall it doesn't look too bad. See the parts where the firing's contacted to the top of the head and the ball. But overall, I can't really see any parts where it's blown out, which is, I guess that's a good thing. But yeah, we will put that aside. Try not to get much dirt and stuff on that. I've got a perfectly clean floor, which I usually don't have. If you're used to me, you're probably used to me working in shit, but today I'm working pretty clean, so yeah. A little bit of silicone around. I'll try not to get that in any of the bores. Even though we are pulling the bores out, I kind of don't want to get any crap in the engine. Well, there is a little bit of coolant in the bores actually. I'm guessing that might just be, I'm hoping that's just from the excess coolant in the head that's just seeped through just then, and that coolant was not there before. Because if that coolant was there before, it means that our head gasket is bad and I just haven't picked anything up, or our head is warped, or our block face is warped. But I will use a, straight edge, like we did the Nuffield head, and I'll put it across and just check everything's flat and true. If it isn't, I'll put some glass pane over on the bench, a bit of sandpaper, and I'll sand the head down, because usually the block face isn't too bad. Now, the next thing we've got to do, obviously pull this, how do I say it? I think this is just the cylinder, the bore itself. I think that's what they call it, just the bore. They don't have any special terminology for it. This is the same as the cylinder head. You have to wind the nuts off in a special order. And it's supposed to be opposites. So because there's only 4 bolts or 4 nuts holding this bore down, it'll just be 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be it. And just quarter turn each. So yeah. Okay, so we now moved around this side. Take off this equipment for the valve. So there's a little rod that comes from the crankcase up in here. It's supposed to operate your exhaust valves, I think. So we'll have to pull this cover off to undo that. And there's also in here another nut which is supposed to hold this cylinder bore down. So we'll have to pull this off to get to it. First things first, I think that's looks like a breather hose of some sort. I'll have to take that off. So lift that up. There we go. Pull this up out of the way. There we go, that's that. I'm just going to call it a breather hose for now. Now we have to pull off these screws. Let's do these in opposites as well. Okay. So here's the, looks like the inner workings of the valve job. Not really anything much special going on in there by the looks. I said there was a clip here which I need to remove. So just push this down by the looks. There we go, and that must just come out and sit there. Now, before I pull this bore off as well, the manual does state to put the piston in the bottom dead center position. So we'll do this now. There we go. I'll actually go down. There we go. That's about bottom dead center. So I'll pull the rag out. I didn't show that yesterday, but I shoved the rag in the exhaust port so we didn't get any crap in there. Because we kind of don't want any of that getting in there. Now, I think that's all we have to remove. I've got a breather hose over this side which just needs to come off. But other than that, I think that's all we need to do. That side, this side, we've done everything. We should be able to just pull the bore off now. So next, grab our 14mm spinner. Undo this one first. We've got a quarter of a turn. Oh shit, that's tight. Jesus. Oh, Christ almighty. Okay. There's a quarter of a turn. Jesus. Quarter of a turn now. Oh God. I'll get it loose. Oh, there we go. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Back to the start. Manual now says to use a soft mallet to bang the bore of the motor to loosen it from the bottom gasket. So we'll try that now. Taps. Hopefully it'll. Oh, okay, it was quite uneventful. It has come loose. Mine looks. There's our gasket. Just try and separate that. Oh, hang on. There's our bloody collars. I'll try and make sure I don't lose them in the. Okay. Now, try and get it out this way. If I can. Doesn't appear to want to. There we go. Okay. Shove that around in there. Okay. There we go. Now got a rag in there, checking all of that. So that looks pretty okay. Now what we've got to do is try and move this gudgeon pin. Righty, so over here we've got our first clip for the gudgeon pin on the piston out. So now I'll try and slide this gudgeon pin out, if it'll let me. I'll probably have to get another one to hammer it out, but I don't have another one. It's a little bit tight. Anyway, I'll get it out and I'll show you what I do. Alright, so that's our piston out. It is comfortably sitting over here, using a 12mm socket to help me. It was a very big help. So we have all of our parts over here. I try to put everything lined up as best I can. But yeah. Right, so we'll check this head for how good it is. So we'll check it in 6 spots. You got there. Looks pretty good. I don't know how well you can see that. There. Looks pretty good. There. Looks pretty good again. So I'm on myself pretty good. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so that's good. It means if it has been, or most likely hasn't been overheated, but if it has been, it hasn't been overheated to the extent that the head is rooted. Not rooted, but warped from it. Next thing to check will be this block face. So yeah. So I've just done that block face, and just like the head, it is free from warpage, so that's excellent. That's exactly what we want. We don't want to be having, especially on this, we don't want to have any warpage on the block face. So that means we have to move all these head studs and do that. The head's easy, but the block is not. And that's great that that's not warped. Alrighty guys, so for now, that's me done on the bike. I might give it a bit of a rest because I have to measure up the bore and see what rings and piston I need to replace the one that's there. I will measure all that up and see whether that is a problem. I'm guessing it is, but it's always best to check before you just go in and buy new parts. I'll wrap up this conrod and the crankcase assembly a bit better. I'll put another rag over it so no dust can get in there. Probably will put a new bearing into this conrod as well. I think they probably come with a new piston. It is just a needle bearing, which is pretty simple. I do see a lot of them on 2-strokes. I know the little outboard I done, that Suzuki outboard, it had needle bearings all through it. But yeah, anywho, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for part 2. Bye for now.